Life is a journey. Unpredictable, mysterious, beautifully imperfect. A path woven with moments you expected, and moments that shook you awake. Every turn, every event, every experience you've lived was crafted uniquely for you, not as punishment, not as coincidence, but as part of your soul's curriculum. Before you arrived here, you carried intentions quiet, ancient, sacred. Intentions to grow, to remember, to rediscover the truth of who you are, beneath the noise of the world. But once we enter this physical realm, the senses take over. The colors, the sounds, the demands, the expectations, they pull us outward, convincing us that meaning lives somewhere out there. In achievements, in validation, in the approval of others. In the next milestone, the next relationship, the next version of ourselves we think we must become. Yet beneath all of that, beneath the layers of identity, fear, ambition, and survival, there is a deeper intelligence quietly guiding you. A presence that has been with you since the beginning. A voice that whispers in the spaces between your thoughts. A knowing that rises when the world becomes silent enough for you to hear it. This journey you're on, with all its twists, its heartbreaks, its synchronicities, its déjà vu moments, is not random. It is intentional. It is tailored. It is yours. And the greatest discovery you will ever make is that the answers you've been searching for have never lived outside of you. They have always been waiting in the quiet, sacred space within. Every one of us is on a unique journey, but there is something we all share. That something shines a light when you feel lost. It gives you a spark of inspiration when you feel stuck. It lifts you when you feel discouraged. And if you've ever felt that moment, that whisper, that knowing, that gut feeling, you already understand. It never comes from the outside. It is, and it will always be within you. When life becomes turbulent, when the ground beneath you begins to shake, our instinct, almost automatic, is to search outward for a remedy. We try to fix, we try to fight, we try to escape. We look for answers in people, in circumstances, in distractions, in anything that promises quick relief. We analyze, overthink, strategize, and push ourselves into exhaustion, trying to control what's happening around us. But this outward search demands tremendous effort, and it's limited by the tools you already have, by the beliefs you've inherited, by the fears you've collected, by the patterns you've repeated for years without even realizing it. It's like being 8 years old and suddenly being handed an algebra test. Your mind freezes. Your heart races. Your first reaction is fear, rejection, confusion. Not because you're incapable, but because you've never learned this language before. Life works the same way. Every new challenge is a new equation, a new level, a new invitation to grow beyond who you were yesterday. But here's the truth most people never realize. You cannot solve a new problem with old awareness. You cannot meet a new chapter with the same identity that created the last one. You cannot evolve using recycled reactions. When you rely only on what you already know, you limit what you're capable of becoming. You stay trapped in the same emotional loops, the same responses, the same outcomes, believing life is repeating itself, when in reality you are repeating yourself. New challenges require new awareness. New awareness requires presence. And presence requires the courage to stop looking outward and begin looking within. The universe is a patient teacher. It repeats lessons with new faces, new places, until you respond differently. If you look closely at your recent experiences, you may notice a pattern. Different situations, same feelings, same reactions, same outcomes. There is one thing every repeated experience has in common: you. You are the constant, the common denominator. And when you change, your reactions, your intentions, your presence, the outcome must change too. When you stop seeking outside yourself, you stop reacting. You begin observing. And in that stillness, your usual defenses fall away. This is where transformation begins. Life becomes a broken record until you choose a new melody. When the habitual version of you doesn't show up, when the old patterns fall silent, when the familiar reactions don't rise to the surface, something extraordinary happens. The space you create, that pause, that breath, that moment of pure presence, becomes an opening, a doorway, a portal into a higher dimension of yourself. And in that opening, the universe steps in. Spirit steps in. Your higher self steps in. Not loudly, not dramatically, but with a quiet intelligence that feels like truth. A knowing that doesn't need explanation. A guidance that doesn't need proof. This is the moment you break the chain, the invisible chain that kept you looping through the same lessons, the same emotions, the same outcomes. This is the moment you evolve, not because life suddenly became easier, but because you became different. You became aware. You became present. You became receptive to a wisdom that has always been there, waiting for you to stop repeating the past long enough to hear it. This is the moment you shift realities, not by force, not by control, not by trying to manipulate the world around you, but by aligning with the world within you. Because when you stop reacting, you start receiving. When you stop fighting, you start flowing. When you stop searching outward, you begin awakening inward. And in that awakening, your entire reality rearranges itself to match the version of you that finally remembered who you are. Instead of fighting your circumstances, try simply observing them. Instead of searching for a way out, look for the quiet wisdom rising from within. You may be surprised to discover that the remedy you've been seeking doesn't come from the outside world at all, but from a place inside you that you may not have visited in a very long time. A place of clarity, a place of truth, a place that has been patiently waiting for you to return. Don't look without. Look within. Everything you need has always been there. And now I want to invite you into this moment. If something in this message resonated, if it reminded you of a time you chose presence over chaos, or a moment when you realized your inner voice was guiding you, share it in the comments. Your story might be the reminder someone else needs today. Your insight might be the spark that helps another person breathe a little easier, or see their own situation with new eyes. This space isn't just a channel, it's a community, a sanctuary where we learn from each other, support each other, and grow side by side. So stay connected, stay open, and keep choosing peace, not in grand gestures, but in those quiet, powerful moments where your whole life begins to shift.